こんにちは、です。今回はですね、イボニックス、つまりアメリカで話されている黒人英語について動画を作っていこうと思います。で、今回はKYOUさんっていうBrooklyn Tokyoっていうね、YouTube チャンネル10万人以上登録者数がいる YouTube チャンネルなんですけれども、こちらを運営しているKYOUさんというアメリカ在住の方とですね、黒人英語についてお話しさせていただきました。で、彼の YouTube チャンネルでは、彼は、日本に来たことがあって、日本語が好きで、日本語もすごい上手いんですけれども、で、日本の文化に関する、理解とかもとても深くてですね、で、それに対していろいろリアクション動画とか面白い動画たくさん上げてますので、ぜひぜひ彼の YouTube チャンネルもチェックしてみてください。で、今回はこのKYOUさんが5つですね、イボニックスでよく使われるフレーズを用意してくれてますので、これについていろいろと英語で議論した動画がありますので、ぜひぜひ皆さんご覧ください。それではどうぞ。Right, so let's go through African phrases.Slang,
yeah.
Slang.
And phrases, yeah. So the first one is going to be, what's poppin', cuz?
What's poppin', cuz?
Yeah. Hey, what's poppin', cuz?
What's poppin', cuz? How do you spell cuz?
It's actually an abbreviation for like cousin.
Ah, cousin. So,
right.
How's it going, bro? Kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Cuz, man, bro. Yeah. What's poppin', bro? What's poppin', cuz? You know, brother or cousin is like someone that's close to you or so someone you're familiar with. Because I know in English, like words don't have a strong meaning as, let's say, like Japanese words. So like something like brother, like you cannot be my brother, but I still call you brother because words, depending on the context, may be heavy or non-heavy. So we often say cousin, like, hey, what's up, cousin? Or what's up, cuz? So like you may not be my cousin, but it's showing a sense of like familiarity.
The same with bro, right? You don't have to be a brother.to be called a bro, right?
Right. So this.
So what do you imagine when you're saying the word popping?
Popping is like, you know, what's new, what's happening, like popping, like something exciting. Like what's new, what's going on? Is something exciting going on? So it's like another way of saying like, what's up or how are you?
Can you just say what's popping too? Like what's popping? Hey, what's popping?
You can. Yep.
And how would you respond to it if you got the question?
It's very common to say, hey, nothing much, man. I'm doing good. You know, it's like, you know, like, hey, I'm chilling, you know, I'm good. You know, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
So you wouldn't say like, oh, everything's been popping well or something like that. You wouldn't say
no.
along those lines. Yeah.
No. Someone will probably look at you weird, like, what? You know? Yeah. But yeah, you can just say something like, nothing much, man. You know, just, you know, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's move on to the next one.
Yes. And the next one is you tripping, man, or you tweaking, you tripping.
You tweaking, you tripping. Tweaking. So does it come from like tweaking, like making small adjustments?
Yes. You tweaking.
Behaving weirdly?
You're in the area, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Being a jerk?
It could be used for that as well, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Oh, wow. What does that mean?
So you pretty much got it. It basically means like you're messing up or what you said is wrong or like you're like, it's something you use when you don't like action or thinking pattern that someone's doing. So like tripping is like, let's say you're walking, you trip. That's not something you don't want to do. So when you see you tripping, like you either not thinking straight or you're doing something that I don't like. Tweaking is actually a new slang that people started using recently. It means like you said, like you hear a squeaking noise, like it's annoying. Like, so let's say, for example, something outrageous, like, hey, I have a crush on your mom. You tripping. What? Like you just said something ridiculous or, you know, like you tripping, you tweaking. So it's something you use when you're dissatisfied with someone's way of thinking or an action they did.
So the meaning of it is like really broad. Like it could be used for pretty much anything. So for example, somebody eating an ice cream for breakfast or something like that. And you'd say, oh, you were tripping.
Right. Who eats ice cream for breakfast? You're tripping, you know, kind of like that. What you find with a lot of Ebonics is that they're very versatile. You can use them for very lighthearted situations or very serious situations. It depends on the context. A lot of Ebonic slang is very universal or interchangeable. Third one, you probably heard this one before. It's lit.
Lit. Yeah, I've seen a stamp for it's lit on Facebook a few years ago. I think that means it's cool. Am I right?
Pretty much, yes. Do you want to guess why? Why do you think that is?
So lit, maybe it comes from light. It's a past tense of a verb, I guess. I feel like it's a little bit old-fashioned already. These days, I haven't really heard anyone use it. So
people are still using it, but not as frequent as it was a few years ago. It's not as trendy, but it's become part of the language. Before when it was trending, a lot of people use it a lot more, but now it's like any kind of like regular Ebonic slang you use. It's like you said, it's like lighting a fire. It's usually used for like parties. Yo, this party is lit. Like it's awesome. It's cool. Like I'm having a fun time. It's exciting. I'm getting a rush. Or it can be a compliment. Yeah, like, yo, what you did did was lit, or like that project you did was lit, meaning that it's good. It was awesome. Like I was interested in it. Something's on fire, it's lit, you know, it means like it's cool.
So there are so many interesting adjectives that describe something that's on fire or super cool, right? Like cool, awesome, lit, nice, great. What else? Perfect or whatever. Which
fantastic,
one? Fantastic, amazing. Which one do you think is the most frequently used adjective?
It really depends on the type of person you're talking to. So it depends on the context of who the person is, where they live, and the type of culture they're part of. If you're trying to speak Ebonics and you want to compliment something, be like, yo, that was cool. Oh man, that was pretty tight. That was pretty tight. Or something like that. Something like that. But if you want to be more like formal, you'd be, oh, that was great. Oh, wow, amazing. Or wow, that was so fantastic. Like that. That's more like basic English.
Which one is your go-to? Cool.
My go-to. If I'm talking with other Blacks or like at least people who are youthful or into urban culture, I'd probably say cool or that was tight.
Tight.
Nice, man.
Sick?
I personally don't use sick too much, but I hear people still use it. I use it sometimes, but mainly I would say like that's tight or that's cool or that's, ooh, that was nice, man. Nice. I like saying nice, me personally. Nice.
Do you change the way you talk depending upon the person that you're talking to?
To me, it depends on the culture they take part of. But let's say I'm talking to an older gentleman who comes from a different era. I would change my English because I believe in connecting with people where they are, because I don't speak the same way. I don't think people should be speaking the same way to everybody. I think out of courtesy, depending on the culture, because even with other Black people, not every Black person speaks in Ebonics. Like some Black people are very professional or from the Caribbean where they speak a different dialect. So even though we're speaking the same language, there's certain words or phrases or tones I won't use because I'm trying to communicate as best I can with that person.
And does it feel like you have like two different separate brains in your head that you can switch on and off?
Hi. I think it's an important skill. I think a man that can communicate with many people is a dangerous man in a good way. And I think it's an important skill to have for social interaction, to know when to turn off a switch and turn it on. For example, my family is Jamaican. Jamaicans speak patois, which is a type of broken English. When I'm around Jamaicans, that patois side of me comes out. When I say, "Hey, Von, yeah, Irie, everything good?" You know, things like that. Or if I'm with my Black friends or people who speak in Ebonics, a lot more of that slang Ebonics. Nah, man, yeah, man, I was feeling it, bro. Like, yeah, it was sick, bro. Like, oh my God, I was talking like that. But let's say I'm talking with the older individual, I'll be like, "I'm good, sir. How are you? Fantastic. It's good to hear from you. Yes, I agree with you. I look forward to our next engagement." Like things like that. You got to know how to communicate with people. It's a unique skill you have to develop. And again, not everyone receives different dialects the same. So you have to be versatile with that. It is important because I think culture affects language. Depending on what the people are going through in the times you live in, it affects how we construct words or sentences. Or, you know, for example, you know, Japan has a better sense of hierarchy compared to the West. But let's say if I was in Japan, I would, you know, be as respectful to people who I'm not really familiar with. But because culturally in America, it's different. Even the language we use is different in communication. So, because even when I was learning Japanese, a lot of parts of learning a language is also learning a culture, because the culture really affects how the language being learned. If I met you for the first time, I would say Atsu-san. But in America, I would just say Atsu because, you know, I wouldn't say Mr. Atsu. That's very informal to the point where a lot of people nowadays, depending on the context, if you're not in a like an office setting or professional setting, calling you Mr. Atsu would be like very weird unless you're like an adult and I'm a kid. But even learning that, you learn something about Japanese culture. Like there's a sense of hierarchy that you have to abide by. So for example, let's say I'm talking to a white person who doesn't know anything about Black culture. Me speaking slang may turn them off because they don't understand what I'm saying. And to them, it may sound like, you know, I'm talking gibberish. Because even in a country, there's different subcultures or ways of thinking. So you kind of have to make sure that a person understands your way of thinking so you can communicate properly to them. That makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. Interesting. And do you feel like this is something that you developed by immersing yourself in like all different types of cultures, or is it something that you were taught by your parents or you were born with? What do you think were the factors that created the sense of being different depending upon the context and situations?
I believe it's also how you're raised. If you are raised in more of a conservative culture, like island culture is very conservative. Same with Asian culture, and they're taught, respect adults, be careful how you carry yourself. It started with that. So part of my upbringing is like that, but also learning different culture. I think that learning different languages, it helped in kind of like reinforcing that mindset, because I realized language is not just the words you speak, but your body language, how you come off, how you dress yourself, all that kind of thing. I would say I had that innate personality in me. That's why I believe I had such a successful time in Japan, because I really adapted the mannerisms and the cultural norms in Japan very quickly.
So when did you come to Japan?
I came to Japan in 2014 and 2015. The first time I stayed for 3 weeks, and then the second time I stayed for a month and 2 weeks.
And do you think you need a lot more exposure to like fully understand how to communicate in Japanese? Because you were telling me that, learning a language, a language is just like one of the things that you need to learn to communicate in that language. It's just kind of like one of the components of that like whole set of communication, right? Do you reckon you need a lot more exposure or immersion in Japan?
I believe if you're ever learning a language, you need to be in a community that reinforces that language and culture. It's a lot harder to learn a language when you don't have enough time to practice, because it's not just about speaking. It's also about mannerisms and actually just being in that situation that can actually force you to, I guess, get the best out of you when you're studying. It was a lot easier to adapt when you're in that environment, because it kind of like forces you where you have to. You have no choice but to do that. I think being immersed in that culture will help you significantly, because it forces you. You can't like, okay, I have to revert back to English now. It's like, no, I have to force myself to keep speaking. So
okay, so let's move on to the next one.
So I'm pretty sure you'll get this one. Chill, bro. Chill.
So you wouldn't say chill out. You just say chill.
Chill is more informal than chill out, even though chill out is an informal or more slang, youthful way of saying stuff, or ebonics, but chill is more stronger slang than chill out. Yeah. Let's say I would say, yo, chill. Yo, chill. It's a bit more powerful depending on how you say it. So, dude, chill, relax, chill. But if I'm like chill, it means like you're doing something like really annoying. So let's say two friends are about to fight because of arguing. I would say, chill, relax, chill out. Like, chill out, man. It's all right. Chill.
All right. Last one.
Goat. It's actually an annotation for something, but goat. What do you think it means?
Actually, I know this.
Word. Oh, you do? Okay. What does it mean?
Greatest of all time, right?
Basically, a lot of Blacks use this, like, oh, he's the GOAT. Oh, for real, you the GOAT. It basically means like people are giving you props for something really well you're doing. So you might not necessarily be the greatest of all time in that area, but you were very impressed by what someone did that you call them the GOAT. Because it either means like you're cool, you're very skilled at something, or what you did just amazed me, so we call you the GOAT. So
it doesn't really have to be for sports, right?
No, it could be for anything, any subject. Like I could just look at you one day, or I just like you, say, you're the GOAT, I like you. But usually it has to be attached to something you did, like an action or an activity. It's not just like based off personality or appearance, but it has to be attached to sport or activity, pretty much, any activity.
So let's say someone gives you a present and you say, oh, thanks, you're the GOAT. Did I say that?
It could work. Like if you give good gifts, if you're known for giving good gifts, you could use it because that is an action. But in that context, you wouldn't really use it for that. No, something that you can be very skilled at. It could be used with gift giving, but it's more of like a skill-based attribute that makes any sense. Or maybe you make music very well, or you draw very well, or you speak very well. You're one of the best public speakers I ever met. You're the GOAT.
I pull some strings and managed to get a ticket for you. And you say, oh, you're the GOAT.
It could work for that.
It could work for that. Okay.
It could work.
Because pulling some strings, I think, takes a lot of effort and time. So I thought that was a kind of an achievement.
It could work. Like if you said it to me in conversation, I would accept that. I wouldn't think that's weird. But I guess it could be used for it, and I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't think weird about that. But it's just something that would fit as well as compared to other words. I guess I should say.
Mm.
Compared to a different word, it wouldn't fit as well, but it does work. It's usually something that you do frequently. If you do public speaking a lot, it's a skill that you develop. And you have a track record of speaking a lot. People say, oh, you're the GOAT because you speak so well. You're one of the best public speakers I ever met.
It was really fun to go through these phrases. Thank you so much.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I had a good time with you.
はい、ありがとうございます。
はい。